This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hello, feline friends. Welcome to Cattitude. I'm your show host, Michelle Fern. My guest today created a book that is going to be the most fun thing for cat lovers. If you love felines, you're going to love this book. And I'm so excited to have her on because she's like, you know, a superstar in the feline world, especially with kittens. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Take a bite out of your competition. Advertise your business with an ad in Pet Life Radio podcasts and radio shows. There is no other pet-related media that is as large and reaches more pet parents and pet lovers than Pet Life Radio. With over 7 million monthly listeners, Pet Life Radio podcasts are available on all major podcast platforms, and our live radio stream goes out to over 250 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn, Stitcher, and other streaming apps. For more information on how you can advertise on the #1 pet podcast and radio network, visit PetLifeRadio.com/advertise today.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I'd like to welcome Hannah Shaw, also known as Kitten Lady. Welcome, Hannah.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you. Everybody knows you as Kitten Lady, but there might be, 5 people out there in the world that don't know of you. So can you give a little background?
Sure, yeah. So I am a humane educator and a kitten rescuer. So I focus on taking care of the youngest and most vulnerable kittens. I work with orphaned neonatal kittens primarily, and I, raise them and get them healthy and robust and eventually find them homes. But what I'm really passionate about is education and teaching other people how to do the same. So I have several books out. I have a lot of instructional videos. I teach classes and webinars to help people learn how to save the lives of these tiny, tiny kittens. And my most recent book is my first activity book. It's really fun, and it is called Kitten Lady's CATivity book. The idea of it really is to kind of trick people into learning about feline welfare through fun activities.
I love your book, but I have to ask you something before we get into your book, because I've always wanted to know. I've seen all these, like your videos, your gorgeous Instagram pictures. How do you do it with these little tiny kittens? Because you have some that are, they're ailing. And how does your heart, how do you do it?
If you're asking about how my heart handles it, I think that it's easier for me to handle doing something than for me to handle not doing something, knowing how vulnerable these animals are and how few resources there can sometimes be to take care of them. I feel very propelled to action, and I can handle just about anything as long as I'm taking an action on it. I think it's much harder for me to, to not act or to know my limits and to have to say no. That's much harder for me than saying yes.
That's such a great answer. It's such a great attitude too. Okay, let's talk about your Kitten Lady's CATivity book. What made you decide to create this book? Because it is so unique. It is called Kitten Lady's CATivity book, Coloring Crafts and Activities for Cat Lovers of All Ages. And it really is for all ages. Hannah, there's so much information in here.
Yeah.
I was reading through some and I thought, and I think on Cattitude, I've had, oh my gosh, probably at least over 125 people. So I think I know some about cats. No, I was going through the book and, flipping pages, and I read something. I thought, I never knew that. And here I thought I knew not everything, but at least a lot, So what made you decide first to create this book?
Sure. So, my dear friend Megan Lynn Kott, who is the illustrator of the book, she and I were kind of doing that thing at the beginning of the pandemic where friends were doing Zoom calls and talking about, oh my gosh, how crazy is it? Everything is shut down. Kids were out of school. Everybody was looking for things to do at home. And we, talked about collaborating on some kind of activity people could do at home to learn about cat welfare and to, just take their mind off of things. And so we were like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if we made a coloring page, or wouldn't it be fun if we made a crossword puzzle? Or we were just kind of coming up with all these ideas, and we were like, let's get on a call and just talk about what ideas we have. And I think right off the bat, we came up with like 20 different activities, and we were like, wait a minute, maybe this is a book. So we both have put out several books. We both love creating in that space. And so we reached out to kind of our literary team and said, hey, we're interested in this book. And we talked with several different publishers, and yeah, we turned it into a book. And so we've been working on this for a long time now. There were a lot of delays, of course, in every industry through the pandemic. So we're so happy to finally have it here and have it in people's hands. And I love getting tagged in all of the activities that people are doing at home. This really became like something that for me was like a fun curriculum to create and help people kind of like do fun activities that could be like a one-off thing you do with your friend or your family member at home or just on your own in bed, but also things that you can do with your cat or in your community, or things you can do off the page, like, DIY toys or enrichment, creating puzzle feeders, creating winter shelters for cats. There's a lot in here that you can do. And the whole book is kind of taking you through learning about these different aspects of cat welfare, community cats, kittens, and even kind of getting to know your own cat a little better.
Yes. What I found mind-blowing was that it says of all ages. And normally, books that are creative like this, they say of all ages, but they're not really of all ages. Yours really is. It's definitely child-friendly, but for adults, yes, of course. There's like anything and everything for your cats. I mean, I'm on the page now, Trap the Cat, which you wouldn't expect to see this. This is so educational and so informative and so helpful for people to learn about, TNR. So it's just, what did you not include in here? That's what I want to know, because there's like everything. How did you there's so much information. And how did you decide what to include, or did you just decide we're going to put everything? Because this is like a great resource book, plus it's fun.
Thank you. Yeah. So what we kind of did was, Megan did all the art and I did the writing. So I sort of went through, what are the important principles that I want people to learn about in cat welfare. And like I said, for me, there's the behavior and enrichment element. There's the kind of responsible guardianship side of things. There's, of course, advocacy and community cats and, like you said, TNR. There's kitten fostering. So what I did was kind of went through like, what are some of the kind of core things that I want to talk about? And then how can we turn those things into activities? So how can I try to teach somebody about not picking up a kitten outside whose mom is down the street by doing an activity? Well, maybe that's a maze, maybe that's a maze of getting the mom back to her baby. And it's a fun activity that you do on the page, but also then there's a chance to kind of write a little bit of, information in there. So it was kind of, some of it, the activity led the education, and some of it, a lot of it, the education led the activity, trying to figure out how can we take this principle and turn it into a fun activity.
You mentioned the illustrations, and they are gorgeous. Megan did such a great job, as did you. And it's still mind-blowing how much information. I mean, you have origami here, you have community cat, you have spay and neuter. I mean, there's everything. What are you most proud of with CATivity?
Oh gosh. I mean, I think all of it together, I really like creating something that is like additive where, you start in the beginning and then you learn a little more and you learn a little more. And by the end, you know a lot. And I feel like we were able to accomplish that with this book, where at the end, there's kind of this intention setting worksheet where you're reflecting on your takeaways and, what you can do to be a better cat advocate in the future. Some of my favorite activities, I mean, I really like the ones that feel very applicable to my life. So, for instance, I'm just like flipping through it. There's one called Two Kittens Are Better Than One. And that activity is about pairing kittens together based on their personality and then finding them the right home based on what the kind of structure of that home is. So that's a really fun activity. I basically wrote kitten bios, and then your job is to read the kitten bios, figure out which kittens are the best match for one another, and then figure out which home would be most appropriate for them. And I love that activity because there is a right answer, but you have to do some digging to figure it out. And this is the kind of thing that we do, every day here, because as a foster parent, I'm constantly thinking about, which pairings make the most sense for litter mates and who is the right home for them. So I really like that the book has some really practical elements to it that maybe you've never done adoptions before, but once you've done these activities, you'll have a little bit more knowledge about how to do them.
All right, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Molly, here's your dinner. Zeus, that's not your food.
Don't let that happen to your precious cat. Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and conveniently located on the cat tree. It's the perfect way to eat. It's a beautiful wrought iron tray that easily attaches to your cat tree and keeps dogs and other critters out of your cat's dish. A must for multi-pet households. There's a 6-inch tray for large bowls and a 4-inch tray for smaller bowls. Purchase your Cat Tree Tray today. Go right now to cattreetray.com. That's cattreetray.com. CATTREETRAY.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking to Hannah Shaw, who created the book CATivity with Megan Lynn Kott. So, I like also that in the book, you deal with things that are, important, but I just opened up to what's the scoop on pee and poop. So, like you said, very educational and spay and neuter and all that. Was there anything in the book that you thought, I have to include this, but it's going to be tough to try to communicate this across?
For sure. Yes. I mean, how do you create a fun, giftable book that people will pull off the shelves of Barnes and Noble, but that also has information about like diarrhea in it?
Exactly.
Like
some
that
kids
was
like that, kids like that
definitely something that we had to, be careful about how we wanted to do that. But yeah, I mean, for me, understanding your cat's litter box habits and understanding, their GI health and all of that is really important. And so, if we can make that into a fun learning moment for people, I think that that's great. And I was really appreciative that we were able to find a balance between things that are fun and silly and lighthearted, and then things that are actually serious. We have an activity in there about dentals, and like a lot of people don't know about dental health for their cats. So that felt important to put in, even if it's not like, so fun and cute. There's a way to make it fun and cute. The spay neuter activity is really one that I loved creating. It's a math activity, but it's kind of like a fun problem solving activity where you're trying to understand both the exponential growth of a cat colony without spay and neuter, but also the exponential cost to sterilization if you wait. So I feel like that's a very eye-opening activity because it kind of shows people, it is so important to intervene quickly, especially when you see cats outside, or if you've adopted a cat, it's so important to sterilize them because, we love kittens, but we don't need more of them. And our shelter system in the US does not have enough capacity to hold all of these animals that are being born. So spay and neuter is a really important thing to talk about. And I thought that a math activity was the right way to do that.
Yeah, it does look like, way back in the day, those word problems that I think terrorized me. Somehow got past them. But I love that you included that because there's so many people that don't get this. And I had a situation with a cat that I thought was getting chubby, was pregnant, and before I could catch her, got pregnant again. It's amazing how fast they get pregnant, and hired a cat trapper, which because I couldn't catch her. It was just impossible. But this is, you're right, so important because there's so many that are unwanted, and it's a whole other topic.
Sure, yeah.
It's horrible. It's just, I'm sure you've heard this, the feeder breeders.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think it's very compassionate that people, when they see a cat outside, they want to help them and they provide them with some food. But it is so important for people who see cats outside to take the initiative and get them sterilized as well. That's really the point of this activity, is to show, when people say, well, it's not my cat, so it's not my problem. Well, 2 cats are much more easy and affordable to sterilize than, 100 cats when they have a bunch of babies and litter after litter after litter. So it can become really out of hand quite quickly, as you mentioned.
Yes, yes. Now, I wonder if that's the answer to this question. If there was one, this is, I think, hard. I would find this question hard. If there was one message you wanted to convey from this book, and you have so much in there, what would that message be that stuck with someone,
Yeah, I mean, I think that the most important takeaway from the book is that there are a lot of different ways to help cats. So, maybe trapping is your thing. Maybe it's not your thing. Maybe fostering is your thing. Maybe you don't have time for either of those, but you love creating art. And in this book, you can learn how to create advocacy t-shirts and logos and hand lettering about cats. Maybe your thing is to write kitten bios, and you can learn how to do that in this book. There's so many different ways to help. And I think it's important for people to know, if they follow somebody like me online and they say, gosh, I wish I could help cats like you, but, I could never foster neonatal kittens like you do. Well, that's okay. You don't have to foster neonatal kittens. There's something for everyone with any schedule, any skill set, any interest. There's so many different ways to help cats. So I think that that's what we're hoping people take away from the book.
I hope so too. Do you think this might increase, the maybe adoption? Do you think people after reading this might go, I only have 1 cat. I really should have 2 or 3?
I hope so. There is an activity in the back that is called the Perfect Match. And it's about going to the shelter and finding the right cat for you. And some of that is about bringing in, cats into a multi-cat household. So I hope that some of the activities in here help people feel more comfortable adopting multiple cats, adopting bonded pairs. And certainly if they've never had a cat, but they like cats and they get this book, I think that it will provide them with a lot of education to feel comfortable finally taking that step and adopting.
Well, what about CATivity 2? What would you add to the book for your second one?
Oh gosh, there's so many. I mean, we are just like a factory of ideas. We have so many different things that we do. I mean, I really like anything that involves like working in the community. I feel like that's a huge aspect of cat welfare, especially now when people are more, people are largely educated now about spaying and neutering their companion cats. People are largely educated about adoption, but people really don't know a lot about what is happening with cats outdoors and feral cats and kittens being born on the street. And I would love to do more activities around that. We definitely did a lot of that here, but helping people kind of understand socialization and all of those types of things. I have just endless ideas for that. So we'll see. Maybe there will be a CATivity too.
I think there should be. So tell your publisher. I think this is just a great book. Who is the cover star?
That is my cat, Ferguson. So Ferguson is my little 1.5-year-old cat we adopted last year. He had severe kidney disease as a baby, so severe that we were told he would not survive past like 10 weeks of age. So when he was 8 weeks old and we were not able to adopt him out, we decided to kind of symbolically adopt him ourselves because I knew he wouldn't have a long life. And it was very, very sad, very difficult time last year. And I don't know, I'm just very good at keeping alive animals. And he ended up surprising all of his veterinarians. His specialists say that he's like the most shocking case they've ever seen. They have no idea why, but he has really stabilized. He will always have kidney disease, but he's now 1.5 years old and very healthy, doing great. I'm looking at him right now, looking out the window. He's a very robust little guy. So we love Ferguson, and we wanted to put a cat on the cover who's very eye-catching, who, you know, when you're in the bookstore and you see this from across the way, if you love cats, who's not going to be drawn to, you know, a big, cute orange cat face, you know?
Of course. I've perused your Instagram, with which you have so much great information. I've seen your videos. You know so much about cats and kittens. Do you ever feel like a side of you should have been a veterinarian, or if you could stay with only cats?
No, I get that question a lot, and I am so happy that I am doing what I'm doing. I think that veterinarians play a very important role in animal welfare, obviously, and I partner with so many great veterinarians, for both, specialty care and spay, neuter, and even research. But, I think that there are a lot of other careers that are important also for people in animal welfare. Education is certainly a huge one. And if I were a veterinarian, I wouldn't have time to create books and videos about cat welfare. So, it's so funny because years ago, when I first started getting asked to speak at vet schools, I always felt like, well, why would a veterinary school contact me? I'm not a veterinarian. But the truth is that veterinary schools don't have a lot of education curriculum about neonatal orphaned kitten care. So sometimes they will bring me in to teach. And I really appreciate that because, it's an opportunity to learn something that veterinarians don't often learn. So, care and husbandry and, especially the care of some of these really vulnerable populations you see in animal shelters are not necessarily part of that schooling. And so we need both. We need also regular everyday people to understand that you don't have to go to years and years of school to be able to help cats. You can be a librarian and help cats. You can be a barista and help cats. Anybody can sign up to foster. Anybody can learn how to do, bottle feeding or trapping. That is really what it takes, is helping people see that this is really something for everyone. And to that effect, at the kind of end of our book, we have an activity called 14 Careers for Cat People. And in that activity, it's like a word scramble. So you're like unscrambling words to make a new sentence, but there are 14 different jobs that cat people can have. And so I wanted to do that because I think a lot of, definitely the message I received growing up was, if you want to be helping animals, you have to be a veterinarian. And if you don't want to be a veterinarian, then there's nothing else you can do to help animals as a career, which is totally not true. I mean, Megan and I both do a lot of work with animals, and neither of us are veterinarians. There's, you can be a behaviorist, you can be a veterinary technician, you can create toys and enrichment for a career, you can, start your own cat cafe, you can be an animal photographer. There's so many different things you can do. Work at an animal shelter, do adoptions coordination. There's a lot of different careers in cat welfare. So I'm very happy focusing on education. Yeah.
Well, thank goodness you are, because you educate so many people with your over 1 million followers on Instagram. And I don't know how many, is it almost the same? How many on YouTube?
I believe it's 1.5.
Okay, I'm jealous, but I'm very, but I know that there's a lot of hard work and effort that goes into all of that. And I just, from all the cat people out there, just a huge thank you to you for all you do to, help the cat community. I'm sure you hear that a lot, but there's so much that you do that I was just thinking, is there anyone in the world like you that does as much as what you do?
Oh gosh, that's really sweet of you. Thank you. No, there are lots of very hardworking people in animal welfare.
Yeah, but
I think that there are people like me all over the world. And I think that that's something I enjoy so much, is traveling and meeting people who do similar things to what I do. I will say, I think what's unique about my work is maybe the opportunity that I've had to be very expansive in my reach and in who I'm able to communicate with. I feel very fortunate that I have the platform that I have to be able to reach people with this information. It definitely is a big responsibility that I take very seriously. So I try to put out, a new educational video every week, which is, a lot of work on top of running a nonprofit and, writing multiple books and all of the various things I have going on. But I try to be, taking really seriously the opportunity I have to reach as many people as I can and to really do justice to these animals and make sure that if there's something even if it's something new that I learn that I can share, I want to share that so that we all kind of learn and grow together.
Well, thank you. Okay, so let's tell people, where can they buy CATivity? And also, I saw you have some new merchandise that is available as well. And also where people can find more information on you and on Megan.
Sure. So my website is kittenlady.org. And from there, you can find my books, including CATivity book. You can find merchandise. And Megan and I took some of the artwork from the CATivity book and turned it into hats and t-shirts and tote bags, and so cute. So that's where you can find me. Of course, you can find me on the Kitten Lady social media, wherever you follow social media. I have, Kitten Lady on Facebook, Kitten X Lady on Instagram. And then Megan's website is meganlynnkott.com. And you can see all of her beautiful art there, all of her awesome books. She has card games that she's put out. She has cat tarot, which is so cute. She really is a prolific creator of beautiful artwork, mostly about cats. So definitely look at her too.
Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time, because I know you're so busy, to come on Cattitude. I appreciate it so much. And thank you, and thank Megan for putting out such a wonderful book. I think CATivity is going to be amazingly popular. And folks, this is just an amazing book. If anyone even has any inkling toward cats, they need this book. And it blows my mind how much information and how fun it is and how much it's like chock full. I love resource books. And this is that times, 100, because there's activities as well. It's just amazing. So again, thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you very much for having me.
I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I was so happy to have Kitten Lady, aka Hannah Shaw, on the show, and Megan, who is the illustrator for CATivity, Megan Lynn Kott. This book is amazing. It's fabulous. There's everything in this book. There's so much about cats that if you like cats, have a cat, want a cat, know someone that, is thinking of a cat, want to get a cat person, a great gift, and of any age, get this book, Kitten Lady's CATivity book. It's by Hannah Shaw, Megan Lynn Kott. And I want to thank my guests for coming on. Thank you, Hannah, for coming on the show today. And thanks to my listening audience. Thank you so much for listening to Cattitude for all these years. I so appreciate it. Thanks to my cats that are going to do some cat activities from CATivity. So thanks, Molly, my model, and Dennis and Charlotte and Sammy and Jethro. Thanks to Mr. Nicky, the dog, that will not be participating in any CATivity books or any CATivity activities, because, hey, he's a dog. And thanks, of course, to my producer, Mark Winter, for making me and my guests sound amazing. So, hey, remember, lose the attitude. Have Cattitude.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.